The ancient Stoics were masters of human nature. They understood how people think, feel, and act. Their wisdom has been used by leaders, politicians, and influencers for centuries to shape the world. Now, you can harness these powerful techniques to ethically influence others and achieve your goals. This isn't about deception or trickery. It's about understanding human psychology and using it to create win-win situations. Whether you're a man or woman, an entrepreneur or a parent, these Stoic secrets will give you an edge in any interaction. So now let's take a close look into the 10 Stoic secrets that can transform your ability to influence others. 1. The art of controlled desire. Give them a taste, keep them hungry. Understand their needs, then give them what they want, but not all of it. People are driven by their desires. The Stoics knew this and used it to their advantage. By understanding what someone wants, you can position yourself as the gatekeeper to their satisfaction. But here's the key. Don't give them everything at once. Provide just enough to keep them coming back for more. This technique works because it creates a cycle of desire and reward. When you give someone a taste of what they want, their brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. They'll associate you with that positive feeling and seek you out again. But if you satisfy them completely, they'll have no reason to return. To implement this, start by observing people closely. Listen to what they say, but more importantly, watch what they do. Actions speak louder than words. Once you understand their true desires, offer small steps towards fulfillment. Maybe it's information they need, a connection they want, or a skill they lack. Give them a piece, but always hold something back. This is about creating a mutually beneficial relationship where both parties have something to gain. As Seneca said, "He who receives a benefit with gratitude repays the first installment on his debt." By giving people what they want in measured doses, you ensure they remain grateful and engaged. 2. Create a problem that only you have a solution to. Become the solution they can't live without. This is a strategy used by businesses and leaders every day. The key is to identify a genuine problem or need, then position yourself as the unique solution. This doesn't mean inventing false problems. Instead, it's about highlighting issues people might not be aware of and offering your expertise. Start by analyzing your strengths and unique skills. What can you do that others can't? Once you've identified your edge, look for situations where that skill would be valuable. Then, subtly draw attention to the problem. You're not creating issues out of thin air, but rather bringing awareness to existing challenges. For example, if you're skilled at conflict resolution, you might point out how much time and energy is wasted in workplace disagreements. Once people recognize the problem, present your solution. Show how your unique approach can save time, money, or reduce stress. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This technique works because people are naturally drawn to those who can solve their problems. By positioning yourself as the solution, you become indispensable. Just be sure you can deliver on your promises. Empty boasts will quickly backfire. 3. Use the scarcity principle. Don't show up every time they need you. Being unavailable makes you irresistible. Humans value what's rare. The Stoics understood this and used it to their advantage. By making yourself scarce, you increase your perceived value. This doesn't mean being unreliable or unavailable when truly needed. It's about creating a balance where your presence is appreciated, not taken for granted. Start by setting clear boundaries on your time and energy. Don't be available 24/7. When you do make yourself available, be fully present and attentive. This contrast will make your presence more impactful. People will look forward to interacting with you, rather than seeing you as always accessible. This principle extends beyond personal interactions. In business, limited edition products create buzz and demand. In relationships, maintaining some independence keeps the spark alive. As Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By being less available, you teach others to value your time and presence more highly. Remember, this isn't about playing hard to get or being intentionally difficult. It's about respecting your own time and energy, which in turn teaches others to do the same. When you do show up, make it count. deliver value, solve problems, and leave people wanting more. 4. Master the art of strategic silence. Words have power, but silence can be even more potent. The Stoics were masters of using silence strategically. By knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet, you can control conversations and influence outcomes without saying a word. Silence creates space for others to fill. In negotiations, a well-timed pause can make the other party uncomfortable, leading them to reveal more information or make concessions. In personal relationships, silence can prompt reflection and self-examination. It's a tool that, when used correctly, can be more persuasive than any argument. To use silence effectively, start by becoming comfortable with it. Many people rush to fill silence out of discomfort. Train yourself to embrace it. When someone asks you a question, take a moment before responding. This brief pause shows you're considering your words carefully, adding weight to what you say. In conflicts or heated discussions, silence can be a powerful de-escalation tool. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By remaining silent when others expect you to react, you maintain control and often cause the other person to reconsider their position. 5. Leverage the power of reciprocity. Humans are wired to return favors. The Stoics understood this fundamental aspect of human nature and used it to build strong relationships and influence others. By doing favors or giving gifts strategically, you can create a sense of obligation in others that can be beneficial in the long run. Start small. Offer help or advice without being asked. Remember birthdays and important dates. These small gestures create a positive association with you and a subtle feeling of indebtedness. Over time, these small acts can build into strong loyalty and willingness to help you in return. However, be careful not to overdo it. Excessive giving can make people uncomfortable or suspicious of your motives. The key is to make your generosity seem natural and unconditional. As Seneca advised, we should give as we would receive, cheerfully, quickly, and without hesitation, for there is no grace in a benefit that sticks to the fingers. This principle can be applied in business, personal relationships, and even in leadership roles. By being the first to offer help or support, you set a standard of reciprocity that others will feel compelled to match. Just remember, the goal isn't to create a transactional relationship, but to foster genuine goodwill and cooperation. 6. Harness the power of consistency and commitment. People have a strong desire to be consistent with their past actions and statements. The Stoics recognized this trait and used it to influence behavior. By getting someone to make a small commitment, you can often lead them to larger, related actions. Start by asking for small, easy-to-grant requests. Once someone has agreed to a small favor, they're more likely to agree to larger ones to remain consistent with their initial decision. This works because people want to see themselves as consistent and rational. In business, this principle is often used in sales. A salesperson might start by asking if you value quality, then use your affirmative answer to guide you towards a premium product. In personal relationships, you might ask someone if they consider themselves a good friend, then use that commitment to ask for a bigger favor. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." By getting others to verbalize or act on their values or self-image, you can guide their future behavior. Just be sure to use this ethically, aligning people's actions with their true values, not manipulating them against their interests. 7. Use the contrast principle to your advantage. Our perceptions are heavily influenced by contrasts. The Stoics understood that people judge things not in absolute terms, but in comparison to other things. By strategically presenting options or information, you can influence how people perceive and choose. In negotiations, this principle is often used to make a price seem more reasonable. By first presenting a higher-priced option, a lower-priced alternative suddenly seems like a bargain, even if it's still relatively expensive. In personal relationships, you can use this to make requests seem more reasonable or to highlight your positive traits. To use this principle, always consider the context in which you're presenting information or making requests. If you want someone to agree to a moderate request, Start with a more extreme one. When they refuse, your actual request will seem much more reasonable in comparison. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. By shaping the perspective through which others view situations, you can significantly influence their decisions and actions. 8. Master the art of framing. How information is presented can be more important than the information itself. The Stoics were skilled at framing situations in ways that influenced how others perceived and responded to them. By carefully choosing your words and the context in which you present information, you can guide people's thoughts and actions. Start by considering different ways to present the same information. For example, saying a surgery has a 90% survival rate sounds much more positive than saying it has a 10% mortality rate, even though they mean the same thing. In personal interactions, framing a request as an opportunity rather than a favor can increase the likelihood of a positive response. This principle is particularly powerful when dealing with setbacks or challenges. As Epictetus advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By framing difficulties as opportunities for growth or learning, you can influence both your own mindset and how others perceive the situation. Remember, framing isn't about lying or misrepresenting facts. It's about choosing the most effective way to present truthful information. Used ethically, it can help motivate people, reduce conflict, and create more positive outcomes for everyone involved. 9. Utilize the power of social proof. Humans are social creatures who look to others for cues on how to think and behave. The Stoics recognized this tendency and used it to influence group behavior. By highlighting what others are doing, you can guide individual actions and decisions. This principle is often used in marketing. 9 out of 10 dentists recommend, but it's equally powerful in personal interactions. If you want to encourage a behavior, mention how common it is among peers or respected individuals. This works because people often assume that if many others are doing something, it must be the correct thing to do. To use social proof effectively, be specific and relevant. General claims are less convincing than concrete examples that relate directly to the person or group you're trying to influence. As Seneca said, "We learn not in the school, but in life." Real-world examples and testimonials are often more persuasive than abstract arguments. 10. Adopt the long game. The Stoics were masters of delayed gratification and long-term thinking. They understood that true influence and success come not from quick tricks, but from consistent, principled action over time. By focusing on building genuine relationships and trust, you create a foundation for lasting influence. Start by shifting your mindset from immediate results to long-term outcomes. Instead of trying to win every interaction, focus on building a reputation for integrity, wisdom, and reliability. This approach may seem slower, but its effects are far more powerful and enduring. In practice, this means sometimes sacrificing short-term gains for long-term benefits. It means keeping your word even when it's inconvenient, admitting when you're wrong, and always striving to add value to others. As Marcus Aurelius advised, what we do now echoes in eternity. True influence isn't about manipulating others, but about becoming the kind of person others naturally want to follow and emulate. By embodying Stoic principles of wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control, you'll develop a magnetic personality that attracts success and respect. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.